it is very hard to tell what is going on with Iran, depending on how you want to say it, I guess, and Trump over the last 48 hours or so, specifically today. A lot seems to be happening right now. Bit of background before we get started here. We're going to do a little something different today. I'm going to talk about a couple different articles that I'm seeing online and how they pertain to everything that's going on. I want to start out. I know I've been talking a lot about how I don't want to be political. And again, I don't think this is political. This is world information. This is the possibility of the U.S. military going to war. This is the possibility of economic fallout, of troop fallout, of international relations, yada, yada, yada. So this is not political. It is of, one side versus like right versus left, Democrats versus Republicans. That's not what I'm coming at with this. So that to get that out of the way, I want to say, first of all, while I may personally disagree with almost every single thing that Donald Trump says and does, specifically some of his domestic actions in recent months, I don't always. There are some things that happen that he does, that he chooses, that I believe are in the world's best interest. And what's happening in the rhetoric that he has been throwing out over the last couple of days regarding the execution of protesters in Iran is one of those things. I'm going to take a look at a couple different things here. So a little bit of a different format today. You're going to have me on talking with you at the same time I'm looking at some stuff. So this one right here. So the Trump says Iran has no plan for executions as U.S. weighs options. Now, there have been 2,400 demonstrators have supposedly been killed. This is since the start of protests within the last couple of weeks. It's been widely documented. It did take the U.S. news a couple of days to begin to understand what's going on. But earlier today, Donald Trump really kind of dialed some things back. Let me see if I can get this audio to play. We'll see if this video will play at all. Yeah, we're going to have it after an ad. Okay, well, we're not going to bother with an ad right now. The thing that has me wondering what's going on is just yesterday, he was saying that he was ready to put troops into the country. And now today he's softened on that. Little background and why I don't disagree with where Trump is on this. In the 1970s, Iran was one of the most progressive countries in the world. They actually were allowing freedoms for females, for women, long before the United States was. They were ahead of us in the feminist movement. Intellectually, they had some of the greatest universities on the planet. They were just a very progressive, very liberal country until there was a fundamentalist religious uprising. And then we ended up with the rulership of the Ayatollahs. That is where we still lie today. And some of the fallout, and I'm going to be dumbing things down as much as possible here because I don't want to get into a lengthy diatribe about how Iran got to where they are right now, or specifically what's happening today. But essentially, since Russia has been spending all of its extra resources on throwing money at a war against Ukraine, they have not had the normal economic flow into countries like Syria and Iran they had prior to the Ukrainian invasion. Or the invasion of Ukraine, I should say. Now, Syria has already toppled. Syria already had a coup. Their president has already lost power. They are in a different place than they were prior to the war in Ukraine. And now the same thing has been happening to Iran. So since Iran has all kinds of economic sanctions against them because of their nuclear programs from countries across the world, they were really relying on Russia and China in order to help them stay economically feasible. With Russia now devoting so many funds, so many people, so many troops and military resources into Ukraine, the financial situation, the economic situation, mostly the inflation in Iran has gotten out of hand. And so now they have been calling for a dismantling of the government, major change. The rallying cries to bring the king back. The rightful leader of Iran is actually in the U.S. He's been political asylum here in the United States for a number of years. So that's how we get to where we are today. The Ayatollah and the president, who really answers to the Ayatollah, they have been cracking down and killing protesters in the streets, and they were threatening public executions. And Trump has been upping the rhetoric about going into that country and putting an end to that. So where I stand as a student of the history of the world and what freedom really means, so on and so forth, is that I do believe that anything that frees the people of Iran from the rule of a fundamentalist religious tyrant is a really good thing. Iran has been a stomping ground and building place, a recruitment place, training place for terrorist organizations like Hezbollah and others. And anything we can do to quell that is in our best interest. They've also been on the brink of having nuclear weapons for a number of years. And having a government that is aligned with the United States could be very helpful for offering stability in the Middle East. And that's vitally important. By the way, if you're hearing noise in the background, my dog is chewing on a bone. She seems to find the times that I'm recording videos to be the best times to make noise. So my apologies if there's an annoying sound of chewing bone in the background. But speaking of chewing on a bone, Donald Trump is throwing out all the strongman rhetoric, which the MAGA population eats up the most. With his declining numbers, this kind of a strongman threat only helps him with anybody that was either supports him or is on the edge of losing support for him, where he can shore up some form of an approval rating as his numbers plummet. Now, what has happened is there's been some retaliatory threats as organizations like the government of Iran like to do, threatening him. They even made a comment at one point in time. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it right here real quick, but they basically said that we won't miss, referring to the assassination attempt on Trump during the election season. So what the purpose of my video today is I just want to say that while we may, and this kind of aligns with what I talked about yesterday, is like, when is enough enough? When do we have to feel a certain way and stick with things on how people upset us, or how somebody's public appearance or public stance affects the way that we think about them? Now, just like a broken clock is correct twice a day, I do believe that Donald Trump is capable of getting some things right. And especially when it comes to international policy, sometimes there's just only one option. And as the United States, there is too much to lose by allowing a galvanization of the religious control of Iran. And so if we can do anything to help promote democracy, freedom in that country, even as we're losing it here in the United States, I believe that we should do it. Now, again, he's dialed back his rhetoric because Iran has been threatening. Here's my 2 cents. And I'm not a general, I'm not an admiral, but I did serve in the military, and I do like to think that I have some understanding of how our military works. If I were our Pentagon and I was planning on a possible invasion of Iran, I would also tone down the rhetoric. If you're going to start a fight with a bully, you don't tell him you're going to fight him at 4. You try to calm down, you try to lower the temperature a little bit, and then when the time is right, you strike. The fact that the State Department put out a call to all U.S. citizens in Iran over the last couple of days to get out of the country is indicative to me that they may be planning something. Troop deployments have also been in question recently. So who knows what's going to happen? But one thing I want to caution for any progressives or liberals here in the United States that may come across my channel and think, oh my God, he's siding with Trump. That's not what he believes in. Listen, at the end of the day, I hate the expression, but whoever our president is, the interest of the United States should always be first and forefront, even if we don't agree with every other policy the president of the United States has. I believe that freedom in the Middle East, the toppling of any fundamentalist Islamic organization that's running a country and killing thousands of their own citizens in protest, that should be stopped. So if that's what Donald Trump is choosing to do, I support that wholeheartedly. I do not want him to fail simply so I can get a win in my own mental head book, right? So that's how I feel about that. I would also caution Democratic lawmakers, if anybody happens to come across this ridiculous video, let's not automatically go against this simply because we don't want the L on this one. There are things that are right. There are things that are wrong. There are things that are worth the fight, and there are things that are not. And this is one of those situations where even if we don't like him, we have to agree with him on this one. So now, that is not to say that we can't argue about the way in which we go after Iran or the way in which we try to bring freedom to them. But we can argue about what is right and wrong as a nation to do, or when it is right or wrong to intervene. So those are my thoughts for today. Well, as always, my name is Christopher Hess. Thank you very much for watching. much shorter one. I got under 10 minutes today. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow. As always, if you haven't, please subscribe to me on YouTube if you found it's there. It helps the algorithm. It helps get me out in front of more eyes. Like the video, comment below. Give me your thoughts. Do you think it's right or wrong to go into Iran? Whether you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I don't get enough involvement from people and getting their ideas as well. It helps me understand what kind of content is best received by you guys. So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.